Alexis gets her law license back, Mac returns home, and Alexis learns if her law license has been reinstated. Today on General Hospital, Tracy gives Cody advice, Chase seeks out Stella's help, and Sonny and Natalia discuss their daughters. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, Soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. At the Metro Court pool, Gio is setting up when Joss shows up. She can't believe he's always here so early, even before they are supposed to be on duty, and asks what does. He says today he walked around, made sure there were no glasses from last night's party, and swept the deck. Joss asks him not to dive in and save someone while she's on duty. He promises he won't. Sonny arrives with Avery, who is taking swim lessons. Joss introduces Avery to Gio and takes her to her swim lesson. Sonny is glad to see Gio again. Sonny knows he has transferred to PCU and asks if he regrets leaving the city. He knows he loves the city and assumes Gio doesn't want him to keep paying his tuition. Gio says it's more complicated than that. He states that PCU has an excellent program. PCU made him first chair, and they gave him a scholarship. Sonny gets that he wants to pave his own way and be independent. Gio notes that he's not that independent as he's still living with Quartermains. Sonny jokes that he should get hazard pay for that. Natalia appears and is on her phone, leaving a message for Brooklyn to discuss Blaze's last recording session. She asks her to meet her at the Metro Court pool. Sonny approaches Natalia and is glad to see her again. Sonny explains he's here with Avery, who is taking swimming lessons. Natalia admits she underestimated his other daughter, Christina. She explains that Allison was having a problem recording the other day, and she thought they'd have to scrap the recording. That's when Christina arrived, and suddenly Allison lit up and felt the music. She realizes they really do love one another. She asks if he believes in muses, and he admits he knows about them and dabbled in the music industry in the 90s. Natalie calls those the good times, and hopefully they are due for more soon. Sonny asks her how she's doing in accepting Blaze and Christina dating. Natalia admits that growing up in Puerto Rico, it was not the most accepting place for that type of love. Sonny says, love is love. She's trying to evolve. Natalia gets a text and has to prove some deception photo shoots and asks if he can give Brooklyn a thumb drive of the last recording, should she show up. Sonny says he can. Meanwhile, Gio talks to Joss and asks if she spoke with Michael about the apartment. She hasn't yet, but she's sure it will be fine, as Michael would do anything for her. Gio gets it as Uncle Sonny paid for his schooling and more, and he's sure he'd pay for him to tour across Europe if he asked him to, but that would be taking advantage of him. Joss can't believe he's worried about taking advantage of Sonny. Chase and Brooklyn arrive at Alexis' office to see her. She says she's so sorry she didn't make it to their wedding, especially since it would have been the last time she'd see Gregory. She says she's going to miss him. Chase asks how it went with Finn. Alexis admits not so well. They sit down, and Alexis says Finn is worse off than she thought, and unfortunately, he's not going to listen to anyone until he's ready. Brooklyn says their immediate concern aside from Finn is Violet, and they want to protect her. Chase was hoping she'd have advice for them. Alexis warns them that cases like this can get very ugly. She explains the way a father, a loving aunt and uncle, and the state define a safe environment for a child differs. If they report Finn to CPS, Violet could end up in a foster or other temporary home. Her advice is to call a social worker. Chase and Brooklyn thank Alexis and head out. In the hall, Brooklyn sees missed calls from Blaze's mom. He tells her to go handle her as he knows who to turn to for help with Finn, and it starts at Guille. Later, Diane drops by Alexis' office and hands her an envelope. She says it's from the Court of Appeals and arrived at her office. Alexis asks, and Diane says tampering with mail is a federal offense. Alexis takes the envelope, but is afraid to open it. Diane says if Alexis won't, then she will. Alexis tells her friend to do it. Diane says she has good news and bad news, so which does she want first? Alexis asks for the good news. Diane says the court has vacated her disbarment. Alexis can't believe she gets to practice law again. Diane tells her to hold on as the bad news is that her license has been suspended for 2 years. Alexis says she's waited this long, so what is 2 more years? Diane laughs.